Today we're looking at my 3-bin composting system and how I attempt to produce a quick turnaround of finished compost. Welcome to Homemaker Living. Using garden and kitchen waste to make compost couldn't be easier. There are a number of ways to compost, but I find the 3-bin system very efficient and timely, though more hands-on. I simply use one bin to finish off the composting process, kind of like a final resting period, and move the active pile back and forth between the 2 remaining bins for aeration and watering. This promotes the debris to break down faster and helps it remain aerobic versus anaerobic. Follow along and watch my simple routine. My husband built this using reclaimed lumber from Facebook Marketplace that we got for free. He added a hinged lid to prevent rain from getting inside, making it too moist, as well as front removable slats for easy access and keeping the rain out as well. I normally add all of the debris from the garden as long as it is disease and pest free, as well as kitchen scraps. And now I'm just down to the kitchen scraps when I come out here. I keep them in these plastic bins in the refrigerator to keep them fresh so they don't get all moldy before I can get out here, as well as using the coffee grounds. I try to monitor the nitrogen just so that my layering is consistent with nitrogen and carbon. I use leaves that we get from the neighbor that have fallen on the ground, usually late summer, early fall, and they're good and dry, and I fill up this bin and keep it to use throughout the season and to next year, just to make sure that I'm getting a good balance of nitrogen and leaves. So in this bag, I usually keep all the bags from compost and garden soils to use for debris and whatnot. And in this bag, I have leaves that are dried from last year that I'm trying to use up. So the rule of thumb is that you generally will put in like 1/3 nitrogen to 2/3 of carbon. And so I just kind of eyeball it. I don't get really scientific or exact on that, but I just crush them up, trying to get them into smaller bits so that they can decompose a little bit easier than the bigger leaves. And then what I'm going to do is I actually had 2 bins started. I have the middle bin is a bin I had started a while ago and it's already starting to break down. But I only want right now 1 bin to work from. And I hadn't started a new bin, the one you just saw me put some debris in. And so I'm going to add these 2 bins together because the idea is to have one fresh pile that I'm working with that I can move back and forth between the second and the third bin to keep it aerated and control the moisture a little bit more. So what I'm doing is I'm just layering. I have like 3 rounds today to put in nitrogen and carbon. And so in between those rounds, I'm going ahead and adding this other bin in there so that I end up with 1 pile. And I think I'm on my last layer for the day, just adding in those remaining things that I have and topping it off with the crushed leaves. Again, just kind of eyeballing it and breaking them up as much as I can. And then just adding more of that middle bin that has all of that extra debris in it that I want to just eventually get them all added together to have 1 pile. And so here I'm just scooping it all together to keep it in a nice little pile that hopefully will keep breaking down in between the turning the piles back and forth. And it'll also be easier just to scoop it up for the next time around. And then I'll add the slats back, again, just to prevent any extra moisture. We're going to be having some rain, and I want to just make sure that I can control that a little bit better. And this is that first bin that has my finished compost, which I started, I think, in the fall or winter last year, and then I kept adding to it early spring, and then just put it over there to rest, and then keep stirring it, moving it around, aerating it, and watering it to keep it to continue to break down. And so this is hopefully compost that I can use this year. I have used it in the garlic and use it any way I need now, but I'll try to keep most of it for this coming up season so that I can hopefully make enough of my own compost for my garden. I think that probably is a little bit more than wanting that I'll be able to produce, but at least I'll have some compost that I can get started in my bins. I'm just going to keep working this and get it aerated, and then eventually that other bin that I'm working on should be hopefully this far along come springtime. And I'm just going to add some water. This pile tends to dry out more than the fresh pile, so I'll add some water and mix it up a little bit more just to keep it, finishing off and decomposing a little bit more. And then once I get it stirred up, I'll add some more water, and then I'll just let it rest again until I feel like it's a little dried out. And here is a close-up look of what the soil is looking at. It's light, it's fluffy, it's breaking down nicely, almost looking like that finished soil compost that I want it to look like. And that's pretty much it for this go around. I'll just go ahead and start to clean up here and close that lid to make sure that we don't have any unwanted rain getting in there. And there's a little peek at that finished pile. And then I have a little bit left of this pile to add into the in bin. And then, like I said, I'll just move this pile back and forth between those two bins over the next couple of weeks. I'll come back out and move that around, but I'll just try to do that through the winter when it's easily to do. It may freeze and I'll have a point where I can't do it any longer, but if I keep working it, I should be able to do that. And then I'll go ahead and just clean up and gather up all my containers so that I can fill them up and come out again in a few days to start the process all over again. Before I take off here, I thought maybe I would show you a peek at my greens that I have in my cold frame. I have green leaf lettuce, butter crunch, and some cilantro growing in here. We have some temps getting down into the 20s, and they're doing really good. We just close that lid every night, and we've been harvesting from it. And here I am back out a couple days later. It's kind of my routine every 2 or 3 days. Here I'm adding celery tops from the celery I processed this week, and then some more kitchen scraps and leaves, and that's just pretty much how the process goes. The goal is to get that pile big enough to where hopefully I'll have some good quality compost by next spring. And I did forget to add some soil or some of that compost from that middle bin, but I'll get to it next time. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.